Picture this. You wake up tomorrow and every word you've ever known is gone. Not just forgotten, never invented in the first place. No good morning, no names, no way to tell the person next to you that you had the strangest dream. Just you, your thoughts trapped inside your skull, with no door to let a version of humanity that never stumbled onto the single most powerful invention in our history. And here's the thing nobody tells you. Language isn't a thing we were born with. Somewhere, deep in our past, the first humans were as wordless as the animals around them. So what would have happened if it stayed that way? Here's a fact that might rattle you. Scientists believe that without language, you can't actually think the way you do right now. Your inner monologue, that little voice narrating your life as you watch this video, it runs on words. Strip those away, and your mind goes quiet in a way you've probably never experienced while awake. And it gets stranger. There are people alive today who grew up without any language at all. Deaf individuals in isolated places who never learned to sign or speak. When they finally learned language as adults, many described it as being born again. One man said he couldn't even understand that things had names before someone taught him. Let that sink in. The idea that objects have names had to be discovered, like fire or the wheel. So now, imagine an entire species that never made that leap. No stories, no history, no remember when. Every human starting from zero, every single generation. But could a creature that intelligent really stay silent forever? Or would something else rise up to take language's place? The language before language. So if there were no words, would our ancestors just sit in awkward silence, not even close? Because here's what most people forget. Your body is talking constantly, whether you want it to or not. Think about the last time you understood someone without a single word. A friend rolls their eyes. A stranger points frantically at something behind you. A child bursts into tears. You got the message instantly, and no vocabulary was required. That raw, wordless communication, it came first and it runs deep. Researchers who study gestures believe pointing might be one of the oldest human acts of all. Here's the wild part. Your dog can't really understand pointing the way a human toddler can. Show a baby a pointed finger and they'll look where you're aiming. That tiny skill, look over there, may have been a foundation stone of everything we built. And then there's sound. Not words, just sound. A scream of warning, a grunt of effort, a coo to calm a baby. We share these with animals, and they carry shocking amounts of meaning. Vervet monkeys actually have different alarm calls for different predators. One sound means eagle, look up. Another means snake, look down. That's not language, but it's not nothing either. So could wordless humans hunt together? Almost certainly yes. Wolves coordinate complex hunts using glances and body position. Early humans, far smarter, could mime a plan, point out positions, signal an ambush with a raised hand. A successful hunt doesn't need a speech, it needs timing and trust. But here's where it cracks. You can point at a deer. You can't point at tomorrow's deer. You can't gesture the watering hole we found 3 summers ago. Gestures live in the here and now. So what happens to a creature that can cooperate brilliantly today, but can never plan for a future it cannot describe? A world that could never be built. Let's try to build a civilization with no words and see how far we get. A few families settle by a river. They share gestures, they hunt, they raise children. So far, so good. A village, maybe, small, silent, held together by faces everyone already knows. But push past a few hundred people and the whole thing collapses. Here's the problem nobody sees coming. You cannot trust a stranger you cannot talk to. Cities run on agreements between people who've never met. A rule, a debt, a promise. These are made of words. Try enforcing a law you can only mime. And governments, forget it. Power on a large scale isn't muscle, it's shared belief. A king is only a king because thousands of people agree he is, an agreement passed along entirely through language. Without it, leadership can't stretch beyond who you can personally stare down. Now here's the part that genuinely unsettles me. Without language, knowledge dies with the body that holds it. Imagine the smartest person who ever lived, who figured out medicine or astronomy through sheer observation, and then died, taking all of it with them because there was no way to hand it over. Every generation would start from absolute scratch, forever. That alone kills science. Science isn't one genius. It's a relay race of ideas across centuries, each runner handing the baton forward. No words, no baton, no race. But religion, that's the surprise. Some scientists think a wordless wonder might still flicker. The fear of death, the awe at a thunderstorm, the strange feeling that something watches us. Those are felt before they're spoken. There might be silent rituals, gestures toward the sky, a faith with no scripture, so a species that feels the universe but can never explain it. That raises a haunting question. Without words, what does a human mind even look like from the inside? Would humans even be human? Here's where it gets personal. Strip away language and you don't just change how someone talks. You might change who they fundamentally are. Start with something we all do without noticing. Right now, you can label your feelings. I'm anxious. I'm jealous. I'm content. But psychologists have found something fascinating. Putting a name to an emotion actually changes it. Brain scans show that the simple act of naming anger calms the part of your brain that's generating it. So without words, emotions wouldn't be quieter, they'd be wilder. Storms with no name and no off switch. Now think about memory. Picture your 10th birthday. Chances are that memory comes with a little narration, a story you've told yourself. Without language, your past wouldn't be a story at all. It'd be a scrapbook of raw images and feelings with nothing tying them together. No, that was the year everything changed. Just fragments. And love. Would it survive? The bond between a mother and child, the pull between partners, that's older than any sentence. It would absolutely exist. But here's the ache of it. You could feel love with your entire body and never once tell someone why you loved them. No, you make me feel safe. No promises about forever. Just presence and the terror of never knowing if they felt it back. Then there's the strangest question of all. Who are you without words? Your identity is basically a story you tell yourself. Your name, your beliefs, the labels you wear. Some scientists suspect the self, as we experience it, might partly be a trick language plays. Quiet the words, and that solid sense of me could dissolve into something far more fluid. So picture a being that loves without saying it, remembers without stories, and exists without quite knowing it exists. And that forces the hardest question yet. Was language the thing that created the human soul? So we started by imagining a small, quiet loss, a world with no words. And somewhere along the way, it stopped feeling like we were missing a tool and started feeling like we were missing ourselves. That's the twist hiding inside this whole question. We tend to think of language as something we use, like a hammer or a phone. Pick it up, put it down. But maybe it's not in our hands at all. Maybe it's in our bones. Because look at everything that unravels without it. Not just conversation, but memory, planning, trust, history, the self. Language didn't just let us describe the world, it quietly reached back and reshaped the creature doing the describing. And here's the thought I can't shake. Every other invention, fire, the wheel, the engine, changed what humans could do. Language changed what humans are. It's the only tool that turned around and built its own toolmaker. We didn't just invent language. In a strange and beautiful way, language invented us. So the next time a thought forms into words inside your mind, remember, that quiet voice isn't just you using language. It might be the only reason there's a you there.